So you live in Streetsboro and you're looking for a dog trainer. It can feel like a pretty big task, right? Well, that's exactly what we're here to help with. We're going to give you all the local info you need to feel really confident about picking the right person for you and your pup. I mean, we all want to enjoy the beautiful spots our area has to offer, like the Portage Hike and Bike Trail, and having a well-behaved dog is a huge part of that. A good trainer helps turn every single walk, whether it's just around the neighborhood or out on a trail, into an experience that's actually relaxing and fun for you, your dog, and really for everyone you come across. Okay, here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off with what makes training unique right here in our town. Then we'll get into finding a professional match, break down the different training formats and what they cost locally, give you a list of questions you absolutely have to ask, and we'll wrap up with some important Streetsboro rules and resources. All right, first up, training in your town. You know, the best trainer for you isn't just someone who knows dogs. There's someone who knows life here in Streetsboro and Portage County. They get the specific challenges, from busy sidewalks to the right way to act on our local trails. That local insight is a really big deal. So, how do you find that perfect professional match? Well, the most important place to start, before you consider anything else, is their core training philosophy. This is really the foundation for everything they do and for the relationship you're going to build with them. What you're really looking for is a trainer who's all in on positive reinforcement. It's the modern, humane, and effective way to do things. Basically, instead of focusing on punishing bad behavior, it's all about rewarding the good stuff your dog does. This builds an incredible amount of trust, and honestly, it makes your dog want to learn. They become a happy, enthusiastic partner in the whole process. Now, let's talk about all those letters you might see after a trainer's name. Here in Ohio, trainers don't actually need a certification to practice, but seeing one is a fantastic sign. It shows they're dedicated to their education. Something like a CPD-TKA means they have a solid, well-rounded knowledge base. And if you're dealing with more serious issues like severe anxiety or aggression, seeing a credential like IAABC-CBC tells you you're talking to a real specialist. Okay, let's get into the practical side of things. What do these training programs actually look like, and what should you expect to budget for them here in the Streetsboro area? You're mainly going to run into two big options: group classes and private lessons. Group classes are awesome for general stuff, like learning sit and stay and for getting your dog comfortable around other dogs. Private lessons, on the other hand, are perfect for tackling those very specific issues, like barking like crazy at the mail carrier or jumping all over guests the second they walk in the door. And there are a few other options out there, too. In-home training is pretty great because the trainer comes right to you and sees exactly where the problems are happening. Then you have day training, where you can drop your dog off for focused sessions while you're at work. And for a really deep dive, there are board and train programs where your dog actually stays with the trainer for an intensive course. So, what does all of this cost? Here's a quick look at the typical price ranges around here. A 6-week group class will probably set you back between $150 and $280. As you can see, an intensive board and train program is a much, much bigger investment. This should give you a good starting point for matching your budget to what your dog needs. And remember, you don't always have to commit to a big, expensive package. Sometimes a single private lesson is an affordable way to get started. For somewhere between $80 and $140, you get an hour of a professional's undivided attention, which can make a huge difference for one or two specific issues. Okay, so now that you're armed with all this info, it's time to actually talk to some trainers. Let's go through a quick checklist of essential questions you'll want to ask to make sure you're making the right choice. Start with the absolute basics. Ask them directly, what is your training philosophy? You're listening for them to talk about positive reinforcement. Then follow that up by asking about their certifications. It's a simple question that shows they've invested time and money into their professional education. This next one is so important. Ask them, can you create a custom plan for my dog's specific needs? Your dog is an individual, so you really want to steer clear of any one-size-fits-all programs. And a great follow-up is, how do you measure progress? They should be able to tell you exactly how you'll know that the training is working. Finally, let's talk about being a responsible dog owner right here in Streetsboro. Because really, knowing the local rules is just as important as teaching a good sit. It's all part of being a good neighbor. These are the absolute must-knows. First, Streetsboro has a leash law. That means your dog has to be leashed and under your control anytime you're off your own property. A rabies vaccine is required by Ohio state law for all dogs over 3 months old. You'll also need to get a dog license every year from the Portage County Auditor's Office. And remember, that nuisance barking? Good training can directly help you avoid any issues there. Okay, so knowing the rules is one thing, but applying all your new training skills in the real world is another. So let's look at some fantastic local spots where you can put everything to the test. Streetsboro City Park is perfect for practicing loose leash walking when there are everyday distractions around. The Portage Hike and Bike Trail is an ideal spot to teach your dog to stay calm and focused around joggers and cyclists. And if you're working on recall and need a safe fenced-in area, the dog park over in nearby Aurora is your best bet. Ultimately, finding the right trainer is the very first step toward having a more enjoyable, less stressful life with your dog. We wish you the best of luck on your training journey. The effort you put in now will pay off everywhere, from peaceful walks in your own neighborhood to having friends and family over without any chaos. You'll be so glad you did it.